What's up, my fantasy football lovers? It's your boy Mark here with Marky Sports, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in, guys. If you are picking towards the end of the first round, you're gonna have a predicament, guaranteed. Are you gonna choose Jahmyr Gibbs, or are you gonna go with Kyren Williams? We'll break that down. Let's talk about it. Before we get into it, guys, if you haven't already, you love fantasy content, you love all sports content, and NBA, NFL, NBA, whatever it is. Check out my other videos. Hit that subscribe button. Like the videos. It'll really help me out. I super appreciate it. So guys, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts, going through the motions. I'm picking ninth in a 10-team league in one league. I'm picking 10th in another. Kind of nice. And then I got third in the other one, so that's going to throw me off a little bit. But I was doing some different mock drafts, and I kept coming up with the same predicament. Now, there's a lot of other guys that could be involved in this, but one that I really wanted to focus on specifically because I think it's a controversial topic because there's a pretty large, you know, um, spectrum of the opinions of these two players, and that is Jahmyr Gibbs or Kyren Williams. If you're in need of a hero running back, who are you going to go to? So let's go ahead and break it down. So first and foremost, guys, let's take a look here at Kyren Williams, right? Take a little bit of a look on about his stats. We'll keep it real simple. In the 2 years with the Rams, really first year was derailed his rookie season by an ankle injury, so we're not really going to count it. But last year he was finally healthy. He only missed 2 games. He had another ankle injury, so that's something that we'll discuss too. But on 228 carries, he had over 1,100 yards. He averaged 5 yards a carry, got 12 touchdowns. He was an absolute beast. He also got 32 receptions, and I believe he added 3 more touchdowns, through the air as well. So he showed a little bit more of that ability to be involved in the pass game, which is huge. One thing we know about this, and here's the positives. The positives with Kyren Williams are that A, he's just a damn good player, and he plays for Sean McVay, who loves to run the ball. It's a it's a great system to be a running back in. He's had success with an array of different guys, and Kyren Williams is showing no difference. Another big key to him, he's only 23 years old, so he's still young. He's really entering his prime. We talk about running backs making a huge leap from year one to year two. Well, the consistency from year two to year three is usually always there, and sometimes there's that other bump. And I think you can see that bump with Kyron Williams this year because I believe his workload might even increase more. Now, here's some concerning points with Kyron Williams, right? He does have a little bit of an injury history, right? It is ankle injuries. It was two separate ankles. So those we could look at him and say that they're freak injuries, but it is something to think about. He's also smaller in stature. He's 5'9", 194 pounds. That's not necessarily small frame, especially because he's a little bit shorter, but that's not an ideal frame to be, a three down back that can handle 350 touches in a season, 300 plus touches really in a season. Last year he was right around the 250 mark. So those are some notes to really keep in mind with Kyron Williams. But I certainly think that you could justify taking any one of these dudes. They're going to be studs regardless for you. They're both very talented. And now we're going to look at Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Jahmyr Gibbs, highly touted rookie, 12th overall pick, I believe it was last year, from the Lions. A little bit of a surprising pick. The dude is electric as it gets for a player. He's special when it comes to just his sheer talent. And the best part is he's only 22 years old. He's a young player. 182 carries, 945 yards on the ground. His average was 5.2. So you can see both guys extremely efficient. When they get the ball, you know good things are going to happen. He was hampered last year, obviously, by having David Montgomery, but you saw middle of the year, they flipped it. They started to commit to Jahmyr Gibbs once they felt like they could trust him more, and he's off and running. I expect him to make a huge leap from year two to year three. And what makes it even better is that he had 52 catches. And in PPR leagues, that's huge. And that in and of itself could make you decide that you're going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs over somebody like Kyren Williams. So those are all the positives. Lots of things to love. He's also in a phenomenal offense, explosive. They find creative ways to get the ball in their playmakers' hands. Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously one of them. He's got a really good offensive line. Both of these guys have great things going for them. They're going to be high volume backs, whether on the ground or through the air. So those are all pluses. So I love it for both. Um, some negatives here with Jahmyr Gibbs. He still has David Montgomery. there's gonna be those games where he's gonna drive you crazy because Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna average 6 yards a carry. He's probably gonna have, 120 total yards, 130 total yards from scrimmage, and he would have had 2 touchdown opportunities, and those ended up going over to David Montgomery. So there is that factor. Now, here's another really, really key piece that is very important to keep in mind. If you're going to draft Jahmyr Gibbs, it is essential that you also draft David Montgomery, right? Because if Jahmyr Gibbs goes down, David Montgomery is an automatic starter. Obviously, vice versa, but it was like that last year, but flipped. That's the key. Now, the reason that could be concerning is a it might be more difficult to get him because he's a much higher ranked back, but B, he's also going much earlier than a typical handcuff would. Usually, your handcuff you get him in, you know, the 14th round, right before you take your kicker and your defense, 13th, 14th round in that range. David Montgomery, you're gonna have to probably get in the 8th or the ninth round. Uh, I had his ADP pulled up earlier, so apologies for not being able to have that now. But he's going a lot earlier. So are you willing to sacrifice that draft pick that could, be used for maybe some receiver depth, depending on how your roster falls, or a starting quarterback, or your starting tight end, um, or another running back that you would prefer to have that could, give you a little bit of flexibility with your roster. So that's a big negative for me, and that's why I kind of kept going back and forth. And ultimately, the decision that I would make personally is I would go with Jahmyr Gibbs because I I go for talent. When all at the end of the day, when I'm trying to make a decision, I'm going for talent. They have a lot of things that are similar. The type of offense that they're in, the type of volume that I think they're going to get, their efficiency, they're all really neck and neck. But I'm just going to go with a guy that I think is unbelievably talented. That really could be the next Alvin Kamara, and that I think has a chance to catch 80 to 90 balls this year in that offense. And I will deal with the frustrations of um, having David Montgomery on you know, taking away some touchdowns. He's also got a little bit more size to him, right? He's a guy that's going to be able to hold up, I think, a little bit better. Um, at 5'9", 200, there's a reports that I can't that he's about 210 now. So if that's the case, I think that the edge has got to go to Jahmyr Gibbs. But either way, guys, you're going to be in good hands with both of these players. They're both uber talented. And if you do draft Kyren Williams, it's a great choice. Make sure you get Blake Corum for sure as the backup, because he's somebody that could, really be plug and play should anything happen with Kyren Williams. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. I'm gonna have a lot more player comparisons. Really trying to find guys that I think are always kind of making me go back and forth, and we'll break it down together. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, peace out.